In this episode, find out how I, like a dumbass, injured myself. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? My name is Michael Sahno, and welcome to the Sea and Land Fitness Podcast. This podcast is brought to you by Sea and Land Fitness. If you want to start your military/endurance fitness journey, come visit us at www.sandlfit.com. sandlfit.com. All right, hey, so this is so embarrassing. We're just gonna get right into this episode. So about 2 weeks ago, I was supposed to do a podcast a week ago, so I'm a little late. But 2 weeks ago, like a dumbass, I hurt myself doing squats. I hurt my lower back on my right side, like around my obliques. If you know anything about physiology or anatomy, and even if you don't, it's that spot right above your the top of your butt where love handles are for some of us. And oh man, it was so weird because I was doing squats, and I love to do squats. I love to do big muscle chain movements, because I think, and it's backed up, by science, that those movements do a lot towards your overall health, musculature, fat loss, for those of you who are interested in that. And I was one of the most important things about that, doing those types of exercises. One, you're using a tremendous amount of weight, so it's really heavy. So one of the things that you absolutely have to pay attention to is your form, how you're standing underneath the barbell, how your, shoulders over knees over toes, good center of gravity, good structure, so that you're supporting the weight with your skeletal structure rather than your musculature. You can do it with your musculature, your muscles, but what you want to do is you want to have you want to be using your muscles in conjunction and alignment with your skeletal structure, your bones. You want to use your bones to support all this stuff. And I did not do that. I was probably in a rush. But I know exactly what I did. I leaned a little bit forward to pick it up rather than got under it and lifted it up. And because of that, I overtaxed my lower back muscles. And it's so funny. My son, who is he's 20 years old, but he's got the personality of like a 50-year-old. He's like, now you got to be careful now, Dad. Can't be going around doing stuff like that. You're gonna hurt yourself, and then what? You're not gonna be able to do it anymore. So I'm already feeling horrible enough, and I know my wife is gonna find out. And then she's going to be like, well, of course you did. Of course you did. Of course you hurt yourself. Hold on. I'm going to have a sip of coffee. Peter Madeira, this is for you. From my littler mugs, and we'll talk about that later. So in a nutshell, I hurt my back. I hurt my back. It was an accident, but it was a preventable accident. Um, and I, so there's a couple of things. There's a process, and I'm not going to go into the entire physiological process of healing, but let's just say that there are a couple of stages, 4 in total, and one of them is inflammation. And I knew that it was going to be inflamed. I knew I was going to be in pain. But one of the things that I wanted to do was I wanted to stay away from NSAIDs. I wanted to stay away from ibuprofen, Motrin, stuff like that, anti-inflammatories. And here's why. And this is kind of important. The inflammatory reaction happens for a reason. What it does is it essentially splints the area so it becomes less, so you have less range of motion. It also makes it uncomfortable. The nerve endings fire with pain sensation, so that you don't move in that area, so that it can immobilize that area, so that, you know, your little cells can go and rebuild that muscle. So I wanted to stay away from Motrin, which, you know, you pat yourself on the back for doing it, but while you're going through it, you're like, oh, geez, holy crap. Now, I'll be honest, I did take some in the beginning, on that first day, but I take it usually on that first day, or, and if I have to take it outside of that first day, and I try to only take 2 doses of it, meaning, I'll take a dose after it occurs, and then I'll take a dose. And this isn't medical advice. This is just what I do. I'm letting you guys know what I do. Hold on. So I'll do that. Take that first dose. Then I'll take another dose before I go to bed, because I know I'm probably going to be rolling around and whatnot. And then I leave it. I let the Motrin get out of my body, the ibuprofen get out of my body, and I just kind of deal with the pain, move at a slower pace. My son, who I said is like always there, he's like, got to go to the grocery store? I'm coming with you. All right, let's go. So, and he'll pick stuff up. If packages come, and on top of that, a ton of packages like wound up coming during this 2-week period. So he was like a little mini UPS guy. And some of it was weights that had to be taken to my gym out in the garage. So he's like, oh God, this is so heavy. Like, I know, I'm sorry. But yeah, so that's what you want to do initially. That's what you want to happen. You want to let that inflammation process go through. So let's say it's your shoulder, the same thing. You want that inflammation process to inhibit, to stop, to limit your range of motion. So I get injured, and don't worry, I had a ton of stuff to do still, it wasn't like I was just lying around doing nothing. Because I've got all the stuff for this video shoot for all the instructional videos coming up in a month. But the 2 weeks where I couldn't work out, I'm like just bouncing. I'm like, gotta do something. I gotta do something. I gotta do something. Hurts. Okay, no. Okay, so I'm not doing something today, but I really soon. I gotta do something. So and my son Bob, he's thinking it's hilarious. He's like, you're like an Energizer bunny. What the hell's going on? And I'm like, I can't work out. I can't exercise. It's driving me bananas. Limited mobility, light duty. I don't do well with that. So another thing that I had to think about. So one, I have to go through the healing process. That has to happen. And I know it's going to be at a minimum 2 weeks. Okay. So I'm going to have to take, initially I tried to cheat. I was like, I'll take this week off. But that didn't work. Because I think I wound up like mini re-injuring it, doing something dumb, like lifting something, of course, that I wasn't supposed to. And no, I hadn't finished my workouts for the week. This is so stupid. Oh my God, I'm an idiot. I'm such a dummy. So I didn't finish my workout. I was one workout shy. I had 6 workouts to do last week, and I was one workout shy. So I still had, and I had hurt myself. I do 2 a days. So that what that means is that I'll do a workout in the beginning, in the morning or early afternoon. And then later on that afternoon or that evening, I'll do another workout. So I injured myself on the first part of my workout because all the heavy lifting was going to be done in the first workout. And my second workout of the day, shoulders, was going to be, not a lighter workout, less intense, so to speak. So I went out I think it was Saturday, maybe Sunday, to the garage and did my shoulder workout and kind of tweaked it again. I had a weight belt, I got 2 of these weight belts. I got one over my right shoulder and one over my left shoulder. Which are supposed to be worn during heavy lifting, so you don't hurt your back. I didn't read the manual, apparently, but that's okay. So I went out and I went and did the shoulder exercises, and I didn't actually hurt my back again, but it wasn't healed enough that I probably took resources away from building my back to build my shoulders, or I stretch the resources. So you have a thing called protein synthesis. And what that is that the body, because of stress / trauma, builds muscle through this process called protein synthesis. And that was the thing that I wanted to talk about next. Sip of coffee, all done. So protein synthesis happens with protein. So the other thing I had to take into account was, and I'm going to get back to the re-injured myself, but I have to talk about this because this ties in. So I had to readjust my diet. All right. So I wasn't eating like crazy. I'm not, shoving food in my mouth, but when I am training, my caloric intake, the amount of food that I'm eating, increases. Okay. So I had to be very mindful, very aware and careful that I wasn't going to eat too much in the 2 weeks, that I was going to just balloon. And I was really good about that. I was excellent about that. I was actually a lot better than I thought I would be. I was actually really scared that I was going to be ravenous. But one of the things that I did, and it was a really smart move, and I can recommend this for anyone who injures himself, is, and this was one of the things that was taught to me in our nutrition course when I got my master's, and that is increase protein. During an injury, you can increase protein. So you can, this is going to, someone somewhere is going to flip out, and you just got to deal with it. Reduce the vegetables that you're taking in, and reduce the fats that you're taking in, and increase, that, swap that fat, some of that fat that you're taking in, for more protein. So what was I eating? I was eating like we get these sirloin burgers at Sam's. Um, are they Angus? I don't think they are. I think they're just sirloin burgers, but we get them. So I was eating one or two of those. Um, and then if I was out, like I would go to Five Guys and get a burger. I had a steak a couple of times. I have these beef kielbasa that I get at these links, beef kielbasa links that I get at Sam's. So I would eat eggs like twice a day and then eat like two of these links and two eggs, and that would be my meal. And what I was noticing, and this is really spooky, this is really kind of spooky. I was noticing that there were times when I would be sore and I would eat let's say the eggs in the kielbasa, and all of a sudden the pain would go away. It freaked me out a little bit. Like I could directly feel the protein that I was putting in my body, having a direct effect on the healing process in my back. It was really it was fascinating. It was interesting. It was cool. And I did not expect it at all. So basically what I did, was reduce my caloric intake, but increase the protein that I was eating. So reducing the calories, reducing the amount of food, but increasing the amount of protein that was in that mix of whatever I was eating. And what that did is, I think personally, that it healed me quicker. Because and I can say that of course it's perceived, it's entirely in my head, but I hurt myself 2 Fridays ago. So that was 2 weeks ago. And this past Friday, I went to the gym and did one workout, which was 4 exercises. Almost went to 5, but I was like, you know what? I pushed it. And the exercise I did was, I did it kind of light because I wanted to be careful. So what did I do? I did a bent over row with barbell, which is 45 pounds, and 245 bumper plates. So I did 5 sets of 10 with that. And I felt it out. I was like, is this okay? I would finish a set and be like, am I okay here? Okay. All right. I can do this. Because you're hyper conscious, hyper aware of, that injury that the last time I was in this place, I hurt myself. I don't want to do that again. So I did bent over barbell rows. Then I did good mornings, which is basically just I did them empty with just the barbell, where you stand up and then you lean forward. So you're coming like this and then down like this at the hip, up, down. And I did those were actually painless. The bent over barbell rows weren't painful, they were tight. So that was good. And then the bent over barbell rows, the good mornings, they just opened up my back beautifully. It was great. And then from there I went and did lat pull downs really wide. 5 sets of 10 at 140 pounds, and then banded side steps. That's where you put a band around your knees and just I sidestep right, sidestep left, back to the middle, do 10, 5 sets. And I felt good this morning. It was yesterday. I felt good this morning. And I was really nervous. I felt good the entire evening. after the workout. It was funny because I went and I got this chicken, boar's head chicken sub. And I don't get cheese on stuff a lot. I just don't do it. It's a lot of fat, and I really enjoy the taste and flavor of the meat. So yeah, I'm that weirdo. I get hamburgers. I don't get cheeseburgers. Um, and I had this big sub of chicken, and I knew that that was going to be something that was going to really, really, really be helpful um, at rebuilding, um, putting the finishing touches on healing my back and repairing my muscles after that workout. So I'm back. I'm gonna have another sip of coffee. Hold on. And I'm sorry I missed a week, so now we're pushed back a week in terms, but they're still gonna the podcast is still gonna come every 2 weeks. But I feel bad, um, because it's my fault that I didn't do this. It's my fault by not doing this. I mean the podcast on time, and it's my fault that I got hurt. Um, and it was avoidable, 100% avoidable. Um, so the message is follow follow the rules. Um, form is there for a reason, and yeah, you can get outside of form, but you always want to be within that biomechanical structure that allows for good solid support by first your skeletal system and secondly your musculature, meaning be solid in your form. That's your skeletal structure, your bones, and then um have good support for your muscles, meaning don't lift more than you can lift. And that might have been the other thing. I might have been lifting way outside. So that's actually something I was thinking about. I might be lifting outside of my ability. Wow. That's an ego boot or blast, smack to the ego. Um, so I actually think, and I was thinking about it over the last 2 weeks, my volume is high. My intensity is high. So what does that mean? That means I have been lifting heavier weights for 5 sets of 10. And I either need to go lower reps, 5 sets of 5, which might be what I should do, which could be one of the things that I do, or I can stay at my regular rep count, 5 by 10, um, and just lower the weight. A lot of what I do is in what's called muscular endurance, as you have strength, you have power, um, hypertrophy, which is getting bigger muscles, and muscular endurance. And all of those call for different rep ranges and different uh, weights, more weight, less weight. Muscular endurance takes less weight, more reps. And I might not have been ready for the weight that I was pushing. I know I was ready for the reps. 5 of 10. I've been doing that forever, so that's not a problem. The weight is the problem. So maybe I'll go down 10 on each plate. And since I use the Olympic bumpers, so the colors are very distinct. And it's one thing when you have all black weights and all the weights are, yeah, they're not exactly the same size, but they're all the same color, so you don't really notice. But when you go, like I had my squats, my barbell back squats, they're I put 255s on there. So, and the bar is 45 pounds ish. So as soon as I go to a 45, those are going to be blue, and that's going to be a big visual indicator that I've gone down. I'll just have to suck it up. No big deal. So for those of you who are injured, make sure you are, one, try not to get injured. Stay within your lane as far as weight. And if you are going to increase weight or reps, do it smart. Make sure you're supported. Make sure either you have a spotter or excuse me. Make sure you either have a spotter or you're doing the appropriate weight that you know you can handle. And if you are doing the appropriate weight that you can handle, make sure you are using proper form so you don't injure yourself. If you do injure yourself, then make sure you rest. Stop. Don't injure yourself further. I'm lucky I have a really good support system at home to tell me, because I'm a bonehead. I'll keep going. It's just pain. It's fine. Dummy. And I will have people call me out and call me dummy. So make sure you rest. Absolutely make sure you rest. If you do get hurt and you're resting, make sure you reduce your calories. Go down on what you're eating during that rest period. And increase your protein. Okay? So drop those fats, which are not bad. You do need them. But fats have twice the calories as carbohydrates and protein. Notice that I did not say reduce your carbohydrates. Why did I say that? Because protein synthesis and healing need energy in order to get things done. Where does that energy come from? Carbohydrates. So stay at your level of carbohydrates. Don't reduce that. Reduce the fats, increase the protein, and you should be fine. All right. That is all I've got for you this week for this podcast. As I said in the beginning, this podcast is brought to you by Sea and Land Fitness. So go on over and check it out, because we got new workout hats, our Flex Fit workout hats, which have the patch on it, and they have on the back S and L fit. So we've got them in royal, like this one that I wore yesterday at the gym. What else? We've got them in black. We've got them in olive green, which is really tight looking, and then we have my favorite color, orange. We also got more multicam caps. I'm wearing a black multicam right now. I got arid multicam, which we've already had, but we also got regular multicam, which is pretty tight. And then I have on my to-do list inventory, so I'm going to update all of those numbers on the website, so they will all be available very soon. I'm going to take pictures of that this week and set all that stuff up. All right, that's all I got for you. Thanks. Later.